Okay, those same steps that we wrote in your graphic organizer are here, except they're condensed into 4 steps. So if we go, we're going to do 4 examples. So if you want to split your paper into 4 boxes. Okay, the first part of your homework is going to be pretty easy. The 2 equations are going to be m equals 4n. There's my one equation. And then let's say the other one is 3m plus 2n equals 28. If I want to solve this system of equations by substitution, what is the first thing that we had to do? Okay, I have to solve one equation for one of the variables. Well, look, it's already done for me. In that top equation, I already have m isolated. Step 1 is already done. So if we start at step 2, I'm going to take this value for m, and in my second equation, anywhere I see m, I'm instead going to plug in a 4n. So if we rewrite that second equation, instead of m, plug in 4n, and make sure you finish out the rest of the equation. So I have 3 times 4n plus 2n equals 28. 3 times 4n gives me 12n. If I combine my n's together, 12n plus 2n gives me 14n. And if I solve for n, I get n equals 2. Okay, I have one of my answers. I have my n. I need to find my m. So I'm going to substitute this value for n. It's going to be really easy if I just plug it into that first equation. So m equals 4 times n, and instead of n, plug in a 2. So m equals 8. We always want to write our answers as an ordered pair. Which will come first, m or n? M comes first in the alphabet, so your answer will be 8, 2. Okay, let's do x minus 3y equals 4 and x plus 2y equals negative 1. Okay, this time step 1 wasn't done for me. I need to pick one of my equations and I need to solve for one of my variables. Does not matter which one. Okay, let's stick with the first one. We're going to take x plus 3y. X minus 3y equals 4. What variable do we want to solve for? Probably x. Probably x. So if we add 3y to both sides, I end up with x equals 4 plus 3y. Now that I have x isolated, I need to make sure, be really careful that you're substituting this value into the other equation. So if I solved my first equation for a variable, that value has to be plugged into the second equation. So in that second equation, instead of x, I'm going to write 4 plus 3y. We're going to rewrite the rest of the equation. The rest of it stays the same. And then solve for y. If I combine my y's, I get 4 plus 5y equals negative 1. How would you solve for y? Subtract 4 from both sides. So 5y equals negative 5. So what does y equal? Y equals negative 1. Okay, you have y. Now we need to solve for x. Which equation do you want to plug this y into? The first one. It's really, one way is probably not going to be any easier than the other. So if we plug y into the first equation, x minus 3 times negative 1 equals 4. Negative 3 times negative 1 gives me, should be a positive 3. So if I subtract 3 from both sides, I end up with x equals 1. So what is my answer as an ordered pair? 1 comma negative 1. Easier than the graphing?
Yes.
Yes. And what we're doing next week is even easier. But it doesn't work all the time. Okay. 1 comma negative 1. Okay. Let's do one more together, then I'll give you one to work out on your own, then you can have your homework. Y equals 4x minus 5, and okay, I'm sorry, that second equation was 8x minus 2y equals 20. Okay, so yes, this equation is awesome because step 1 is already done. So I'm going to take this value for y, plug it into the second equation. So we have 8x minus 2. Now I'm going to really stress the use of parentheses because since I'm substituting in a quantity, they're going to be very important. So I'm going to put whatever I'm substituting in parentheses because what do you notice? What am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to distribute. Now, the hard thing about distributive property is if I have to distribute a negative, I am distributing a negative 2. So I have to take that negative 2 and distribute it to the 4x, and I get a minus 8x. And I have to distribute it to the negative 5. I get plus 10. Okay, so I have 8x minus 8x. What happens? That's 0. So I end up with 10 equals 20. What does this mean? No solution. They are parallel lines. There is no solution. Okay, last one I want you guys to do on your own.
Is there one that's like exponentially or something?
I don't have one in my example, but if you would have ended up with 2 equals 2, then you would have wrote infinitely many. Okay? All right, I want you guys to try this one on your own. 3x minus 4y equals 1, and 2x plus y equals 8.